The Elementals of Harmony by Fan of Most Everything. Chapter 12. Or 11. Depending on how you look at things. On ends.
Everything's looking fine, Mommy.
Between the creepy assuredness and blank stare, Ditsy couldn't bear to look at her daughter. Of course, the rest of the studio was no more inviting. Behind her and on either side there stood a full-grown unicorn with a wide selection of incapacitating spells on hoof, ready to take her down if she showed the slightest hint of a second thought. In front of her was the Generosity Elemental. It had been said that the greatest curse of the Blue Mana is that its users can never stop thinking. For all the rage and righteousness she had been channeling lately, Ditsy was a blue mage at heart. And if asked, she would wholeheartedly agree with this sentiment, even as she prepared to surrender herself to a being whose very existence was harming reality. She couldn't help but wonder how its facets reflected its own magic, and a display of color that outshone any mundane diamond. She pondered what it would do after the other two subcrystals found foreheads to call their own. Most of all, she hoped that Pinky and Luna would be willing and able to do what they had to for the sake of Equestria. Such morbid thoughts were interrupted by the gem impinging on Ditsy's scalp. However, this didn't halt the thought process, but redirected it. The sensation, as it phased through her head, was strangely cooling, as though a frontal bowl was sucking on peppermint. Then the tip reached the brain matter, and suddenly the peppermint had a lemon center. No, not lemon. Pure electricity, pure energy, pure mana of thought and cognition linked up directly into an ever-increasing number of synapses in her brain, filling every crevice with a billion thoughts from a billion people and bringing them to mind at speeds that certainly overloaded to keep you much longer before contact. Rarity smiled.
Welcome to the herd, dear.
That was more difficult than I anticipated, admitted the elemental. There was an unexpected positive feedback loop that nearly... Lyra frowned. Nearly what? As if in reply, Ditsy's eyes and crystal horn burst forth with beacons of blue radiance like a trio of searchlights. The three unicorns tried to call back the spells that had been on the tip of their horns, but were caught in the mental backwash. So too were the fillies. In an instant, the boutique was filled with an azure light and silence. On the psychic level, there was far more activity. At first, there was countless iterations on the same question. What just happened? The answer, delivered calmly, with all the background information needed to understand it, was that Ditsy hadn't known how the Generosity Elemental's abilities function. She had willingly opened herself to it, giving it total access to all her memories and knowledge on the assumption that it would have access to them anyway. Perusing this data, the Elemental had inadvertently opened every mana bond formed over the cards of the Pegasus planeswalking. The sheer amount of mana and experience flooded out into the entire Dassault, which left them to where they are now. Like the chorus of an ancient Hellenic drama, Unicorn simultaneously asked, "Well, what all did that?" The answer was far less expository and more individualized. The responding party, a mix of Generosity Elemental and Playwashing Pegasus with lines blurred beyond recognition, simply opened its mind to the Dassault as a whole. Obviously, years of memory were a bit much for the average pony mind to take in at once. Instead, each merit subconsciously cherry-picked the thoughts of the greatest personal interests. Rarity admired 1,000 designs, created by races for whom fashion was a necessity rather than a luxury, but no less an art for it. Sweetie Belle witnessed 1,000 activities that the Crusaders had never known to consider in their quest for the cutie marks. Trixie beheld 1,000 charlatans whose lies and comeuppance both made hers pale in comparison. Dinky appreciated 1,000 instances of her mommy being awesome. Elvira saw humans everywhere. The highlight reel of the multiverse drew to a close, as did the sun urge in mental communion. Ditsy's eyes were still glowing, but not in search and rescue intensities. The other ponies were digesting their new insights and inspirations. Jean, meanwhile, was wrestling with a troubling revelation of his own. Verity itched for a sketchbook, but she could feel the crystal apprehension.
What is it, mon petit bijou?
I should not exist.
What?
The ivory unicorn runs to the gem's side.
Oh, how could you even say that?
The answer was placed directly in her brain.
Oh.
She bit her lip, scrambling for excuse.
Girls, help me out here.
Tracy suddenly found his floorboards fascinating.
I didn't know all the details, but I was told that things were threats to the entire world.
Her voice began to crack with shame.
It just felt so nice not to have to be Trixie.
Lyra gave her a nuzzle. Hey, you made a lot of growth. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Snowmare shuffled and gave a reluctant nod.
Thank you.
A smile began to form, supported by telepathic encouragements.
Thank you all.
The mint green unicorn gave a pleased look, but it quickly vanished as he focused on the other matter and huffed. Don't ask me how I know, but the math all checks out. The only way John can exist is if some numbers change that really, really shouldn't change. Sleebell was distraught.
But,
She shook her head fiercely.
Can't be true. Mr. John is too nice to do something so bad.
I have no wish to destroy this world, confirmed the elemental. Nevertheless, it is taking place, independent of my own volition. There's only one logical recourse.
But you give it still so much,
wailed Verity. Yes, and now I give you the greatest gift I could ever hope to. A future. With that, each crystal planted in the pony's forehead crept its way out, returning to orbit around its main body. Through some lingering magic, every pony understood the generosity elemental's final words. Goodbye, my friends. The spinning jewels slowed and came to a stop. All 9 became more progressively transparent, color and substance fading until there was nothing left. Verity rushed out of the room, seeking the comforting embrace of her fainting cats. Aside from her anguished sobs, a solemn silence filled the room. Explaining the situation to Applejack was surprisingly simple in her own instance. The conversation went something like this.
Okay, here's what's going on.
Is it magic?
Well, duh. Anyway,
Don't care.
But,
Blakey, I'm flattered that y'all think I understand the mumble jumbo that you're just easy to tell me. But I ain't. And I'm pretty sure there's better ways we could be spending the time. See, how's the point? Noted Luna.
Fine. Anyway.
Pinky interrupted herself with Sarah.
Icky, hip, loss of balance, as in reflux!
Those last 2 words were belts. Echo raised an eyebrow at the disheveled pile of pony. What just happened? Planky science, exclaimed the farm hoof. She turned to the prone Planky. What's up one money, anyhow?
I think I know where to find the kindness elemental.
Wait, how many of those creatures do we still have left to take care of?
4. No, wait.
Pinky peered at the distance.
3. Kindness, loyalty, and magic.
How can you tell?
Do you want the truth or something you can understand?
Applejack mulled this over for a bit. Both?
Good answer. Unfortunately, we don't have time for either right now. Your Highness, could you find Ditzy?
Luna nodded. Certainly.
Great, because we're probably going to need her.
The party pony turned to her fellow bearer.
Outset, grab my tail.
The oarsmere blinked incredulously. Beg your pardon?
Grab my tail. The fate of Equestria depends on it.
If you'll say so. Applejack hesitantly bit the appendage in question. A curious compromise between pink and poofy scaled and sinuous. Once he was satisfied with her friend's grip, Pinky gave a rousing cry of Adventure! It took off in a red-orange blur. Luna's eyes saw the door was sore, but her mind was miles and millennia away. Pinky's ocular elucidation had reminded her of an ancient coven of earth ponies who had sought to refine their connection with the land into a magic as potent as any unicorns. The Order of the Transient Crust, as they called themselves, saw fate as a tectonic process. Slow drifts of destiny reshaping the world, the occasional catalysm coming with clashes of fate. The greatest among them resonated with the glacial motion of predestination, sinking in sympathy with momentous shocks that traveled backward through the temporal strata. Stories spoke with those who could feel the slightest shift in what that would be, forming an odd language of lesser ticks that could procrastinate the life-changing and inane with equal life likelihood. But the last of the Order had died more than 1,400 years ago, hadn't she? Princess of the Night shook herself from her ruminations. This was neither the time nor the place. She made for the building from which she had sensed a burst of arcane energy not so long ago. Even if it hadn't told of her allies, whoever caused it could prove an invaluable asset. The library of Commodore Gruff was something like a library of conquest for the multiverse, holding a copy of every written work in existence. Of course, being the creation of an eccentric planeswalker, a worrisome phrase is an insane Sphinx, it was rather ambitious than that, also containing every work that could be written, was being written, might have been written, and every other tense besides. This meant that, among other things, it had an astounding selection of Equestrian children's literature. Pinky was taking advantage of this fact when a twitch played over her body. Ear flop, eye flutter, sneeze. Once she recovered, she pulled out the notes he'd been keeping on the actions. A wistful smile came to the filly's face as he remembered when her mother had first explained the family's unique gift. But a thrill gasp chased it away when she found the appropriate entry. The young pony looked in every direction and seldom one that didn't seem especially important and called, "Mr. Gruff! Mr. Gruff!" The Commodore materialized next to her, having accepted that a proper title out of Pinky was definitely not going to happen. "Yes?" The eager foal was seeking with excitement, and now trying clearly to restrain herself from bursting into a bouncing frenzy. She pointed into the not especially important direction and asked, "Meow?" The bearded planeswalker adjusted his spectacles and peered along the indicated path. After a moment he nodded to himself. "Yes, indeed. Well done, Pinky." "Woohoo!" The filly turned back to where she pointed and gave a wave. "Hello!" "Now," said Gruff. "Best not to be coy with this sort of thing, dear. Don't want to frighten them off." He paused, a strange thought calling his attention. "Of course, if they made it this far, they should be used to this sort of thing." He shook his head. "Nevertheless, you need to strike a balance. You shouldn't just pretend they're not there, but you can be a bit subtle about it." Pinky nodded with all the severity used. "Subtle, right, can do." He gave a proud grin at the walker, for her eyes kept straying towards whatever made in that direction, unlike all the other directions. Commodore smiled and ruffled her mane. "Don't worry, comes with practice." The somber atmosphere lingered for a few moments. Then a loud thump managed to chase each pony out of her head and back into reality. Unicorns realized that the sound had been dizzy falling over. One in particular found this realization most distressing. "Mommy, are you okay?" The Pegasus slowly blinked away, back to her awareness. "Ugh, feels like I just delivered 10 years' worth of heartwarming bards." Dinky had nothing to say with this, simply nuzzling her mother, but gladly appreciated. "Thanks, Muffin." For once, Tracy found herself the center of attention without enjoying it. "I just wanted to be clear on something." No pony seemed to object, so she pressed on. "What exactly happened?" Dizzy gave a bemused grin. "Well, I didn't know how the elemental functioned, so—" No, that was I got. But what was all that? She gave a fake humorous gesture, trying to encompass the multi-dimensional rogues gallery she had borne witness to. That! Oh, clearly, something managed me communicating. Those were memories. Yours. This guy nodded. But how? The Pegasus smiled uneasily. It's complicated and classified. Every pony looked at Lyra. She was much more composed than she was a few minutes ago. Hey, I just realized we have Ditzy, Lyra, and Trixie, and Dinky. Look, it's been a busy 2 weeks, alright? I'll get back to the Lunaverse episode and finish the rest of Secret Atlantis. I get it. Stop showing me the Lunaverse cast! Classified! Some trace of arrogance fell back to Trixie's voice. By whose authority? The sea green unicorn was not impressed. The glare she shot at the Soulmare could have done credit to any member of the Royal Guard. The princesses. I trust that's acceptable? Actually, replied the other mare, ego managed to resurge, considering that I am the Royal Librarian of Night Shift and favored pupil of Princess Luna, I'm not sure it is. At this point, the two circling each other. Neither horn was lit, but a class of egos made a heavy atmosphere, as ambient mana had not long ago. The Royal Librarian, you say? I've seen no more impressive before. Tracy tossed her mane. That's right. Security clearance level? The blue unicorn almost missed a step at this. Almost. Prince! GoldenEye Mare nodded this. It stopped her processing. I see. I'm sorry, but I cannot allow the dissemination of disinformation to any party of less than lunar level clearance. Can you disseminate while you're being a jerk? Dinky! Well, she is. Dizzy resisted her for a face-off. Sorry. Lyra, right? 5 starting line. Ponyville, added her memory. The Air Mare gave a smirk. Really? After the psychic backwash, I think you knew everything from my middle name to my shoe size. The Pegasus winked tried. I guess you didn't get a complete copy of my memories. What do you think the odds are I got total recall for 5 different ponies? Lyra nodded. Fair point. As for Dinky's question, well, as you may have guessed, I'm in the intelligence business. You're a spy? Asked the silly awestruck filly. No! That's Bon Bon! She's the spy! You did it! You did it! I can't believe you pulled out the slice of life joke! No, not a spy. Not normally, anyway. Seaside turned back to Ditzy. You know, any other time I'd punch you in the muzzle and make you deal with paperwork. But if these weren't extenuating circumstances, I don't know what are. Excuse me? Lyra pressed on. Of course, if this were any other time, I wouldn't even be involved. Ditzy frowned. What are you talking about? This guy shook his head. Like I said, classified. I've already told you too much as it is. She sighed again. This really isn't my department. Are you easily this cryptic, or did I catch you on a bad day? A little of both. Part of it is the post-hypnotics. My doubt's so secret that even I don't know about it. She shrugged. Suffice it to say, if and when this situation flows over, expect a visit from the ETSAB. The what? You'll see, if you'll excuse me. She walked out of the room before Dizzy could refuse to excuse. What's in this, Dab? Asked Dinky. I have no idea, Muffin. Dizzy looked at Trixie. Do you know anything about this? A silver shook her head. Your guess is as good as mine. Lyra walked out of the boutique. Concerns had been hypnotically buried, making themselves known all too well. So distracted by the numerous ways things were going wrong, she fairly didn't register the alicorn approaching the shop. When she did, she only spared enough thought for a nod and a Your Highness. After a moment, Luna smiled and returned the nod. Agent Hotstrings, what brings you here? Kid talk, time shenanigans. The princess frowned. What about... Unicorn only now stopped. That was because she felt she should finish the small talk with royalty before moving out of view. Both on missions. Defaulted to me. Lots to do. Really need to get going. Oh, don't let me stop. Lyra was already canter off. You. The device was as Sweetie had left it earlier that morning. A seemingly random assembly of items that nonetheless managed to convey a sense of purpose and potential. Still, its inventor frowned and examined it, as though seeing it for the first time. It's weird, mused the filly. I remember knowing exactly what to do when I was making it, but not how. Or why. She turned to Dizzy with an expression of concern. Is that weird? The Pegasus shook her head. That's blue magic in action. You get the answers, but not how you got them. Like you got the answers in the back of the book? Dizzy nodded. Exactly. One way or the other, most blue spells are a form of cheating. She began to circle the assembly, following the faint lines of inactive matter pathways. Slee realized her tactical error. I don't do that, of course! Uh-huh, reread Sapphire Emerald. It's Skula doesn't either! Right, said Pearl Diamond. And she definitely didn't tell me about them! That's nice. A bowl in the middle, and on top, an empty socket? That wasn't quite right. Dizzy grinned. A wave of a hoof and a delicate bit of dark violet flared into the chrome fixture. This bit of precipitation was enough to interrupt Sweetbell's string of incriminatingly specific denials.
What's that? The component you didn't know you needed.
With that, the blonde flipped the switch. The air around the contraption sizzled. The gemstones glowed from within. Something not unlike a heat shimmer formed around the top as the lotus pebble crumbled to ash. The symbols intensified to something between radio static and popping bubble wrap. The colors seemed to explode out the gemstones one by one, leaving cracked, burnt-out husks. Finally, the opal finally did explode, along with the entire device. Chunks were sent flying across the room. Whether by luck or design, no pony was harmed, and only one piece of shrapnel even touched the onlooker. The empty socket was laid on top of Sweetbell's head. There was an utterly cheery ding, and a small lump of crystal sprouted from the widget. The filly took the end product and frowned at it.
Well, did it work? So what's for my mad science cutie mark? Oh, I don't know, Dizzy said with a knowing smile. Give that a little time and it may surprise you.
The young unicorn cast a doubtful look on the rough jewel, barely the size of a wild strawberry.
Well, if you say so. I do.
The Pegasus gave a start as inspiration struck.
Hey, could you do me one favor, sweetie?
The curly mane foal nodded eagerly. As far as she was concerned, she probably never paid back the mailman full.
Great, here's what I need.
Sweetbell approached her sister's room cautiously. The older unicorn's sobs echoing down the hall. The first night didn't break the melodrama, so she delivered a more vigorous assault at the door. That did. Go away! I want to be alone! I want to be alone!
But you have a commission! I don't deserve a commission! I am fifth! Scum! Dross! But the fate of the world depends on it! I'm not worthy of saving the world! I am everything a pony should not be! Equestria's and needs a savior such as I!
Sweetie sighed. This is far from the first such episode, but easily among rarities worse. Fortunately, she had a trump card.
Miss Ditsy says she only wants one gemstone.
This trigger was as intense as the sobs before it. Finally, a slow, carefully measured voice came from the other side of the door.
She said what?
The filly gave a smug smirk. She knew this would work.
Yep, just one. Awfully teeny thing, too. It's a good thing she wanted a necklace, or you didn't even know it was there.
The silence grew ominous and oppressive. Sweet began to worry. Maybe she laid it on too thick?
Sis?
The door to the boudoir flew open. Verity strode out, clad in resolve and designing glasses.
Where is this inconsequential little Kristen?
She didn't bother waiting for a response, spotting in her sister's huff. The fashionista magically snatched it with a sniff of disdain, then made for her studio.
I shall bring this pathetic trinket to its full fabulous potential. What did she? For Equestria! For fashion!
Sweetbell smiled, then glanced at her flank. Nope, no manipulation, cutie mark. Hey, sweetie, maybe you should grab the other trio and go out and help some pony. I guarantee you're gonna love it. Oh well, Dizzy may not have asked more of her, but she still had more to do. As each sister tried out to fulfill her self-appointed mission, the jewel began to impeccably swell. Apple Bloom knew she was truly desperate for a cutie mark when she asked Granny Smith for help. Oh, the old green mare was nice, no doubt about that, but she just wasn't quite out there anymore. Of course, the filly had thought that before she learned that the Apple matriarch had a tried and tested method for discovering a pony's special talent. Thus did the two find themselves in the farmhouse kitchen, with enough ingredients for virtually every apple-based treat imaginable. Granny gave the supplies a final once-over, followed by a satisfied nod.
I reckon that'll do it. You know what you to do is better.
The younger pony frowned, hesitant.
I think so.
Her grandmother hissed.
Lincoln's been your problem this whole time. You should have come to me first then. I'll help more than a dozen of your aunts, uncles, and cousins unblank their flanks. You and your own fire, precious thing, full soul. Granny! Ah, it's just those apples. And I'm older than dirt anyhow. I've earned the right to cuss now and again.
She nodded towards the arranged foodstuff.
And that's John. You got enough there to make about every recipe I know. Now, your instincts, you'll have your cutie mark fancy, you can say Chancellor Puddinhead. You'll need something what ain't there, just holler and I'll get it to you.
Appleman forced a smile.
Oh, great. This collects a cackle out of Green Smith. I know what you're thinking. That grand mine will take forever and a day to paint something. No, no.
The old mare ruffled her granddaughter's mane.
You're a nice feeling, Prickly Bear, but you ain't my better than your sister. Now, don't you worry none. When I say I'll get Big Macintosh to him if he wants to explain to his baby sister why he's too baby to fed some vittles. The filly pined. I ain't no baby. Grace smiled knowingly. Then, I'm the youngest of three. This day, both of my brothers still think of me as the baby. Well, you're older than that, blurted Apple Bloom. And they're older still. Now, did you want to gossip with Granny, or did you want to get your cutie mark? The red-maned filly gave a determined grin. Rah! Of course, that was when the doorbell rang. Grace just sighed. You get yourself started, Halfpint. I'll go see who it is. Okay. As the yellow mare athletically made for the front door, the filly focused on the task before her. Then, she hastily backpedaled. Focus was what she had been doing wrong. According to Granny, her special talent hid in some combination of the items before her. She just had to do what felt right. For a short while, she simply stood still, clearing her mind as during the abortive attempt to become Cunie-Mark Crusader Bodeistas. Then, she opened a bag of flour and measured out 2 generous cups into a bowl, followed by a cup of salt. As she got a cup of water from the faucet, some part of her marveled at how her accent seemed automatic. No conscious thought required. Her body simply knew what it was doing. Little Miss Fancy Pants up in her penthouse apartment in the Skull was finally stepping back and letting it. Apple Bloom! She began to stir in the water, a delicate arrangement of hose, mouth, cup, and spoon. Once the fluid was all added, she kept going, grinning as she felt the mixture begin to exert resistance. Apple Bloom! Once her jaw began to ache, she extracted the spoon from the doughy paste and sat down. She turned back into the bowl, but something had gotten in the way. She tried to reach around for it, but a twist kept blocking her. The pony started frustration. The pieces were coming together. She could feel the tingling on her flanks. How dare this destruction stand between her and her destiny? Oh well, not like she could fix this. Apple Bloom! The youngest apple blinked a few times as her conscious mind eased back into the driver's seat. Then she noticed she was poised to buck, all the way on her front hose. This position, she quickly realized, was highly unstable. It was about to fall on her rump. Then she did. Then, she became aware of a hoof on her forehead. The interpreter's owner. I don't have a fever, sweetie Belle. Unicorn withdrew her foreleg. Just making sure you are you. Well, who else would I buy? What did you get here anyhow? Your granny let me in a couple of minutes ago. She said it wouldn't make any difference because you were in the zone. Well, I didn't expect you to holler like the next nightmare night we're after you. Granny Smith tried to kitchen. There's 6 down. There, that one out in Appaloosa. Sweet scratched the floorboards. I'm sorry I got in your way, Apple Bloom. Your filly stopped her friend's moping with a hug. Nothing to worry about. I don't want nothing to do with no cutie mark that make me want to buck one of my best friends in the face. You done that to any pony, Bloom. No, your grandmother. No, unicorn gasped in horrible. It's horrible. No, there's their fountains. Granny shot back. When I was making a pie for the first time, I dreamed of both of my brothers. I didn't even notice the dang thing was in the oven. The old mare gave a wicked grin. Still like to remain that they got licked by a filly half their own size now again. Keats will take. At this point, Sweetbelle was looking from apple to apple with mounting nervousness. Seeing this, Apple Blue quickly asked, So, why don't you come over anyhow? Oh, right. The pack drained out the unicorn, replaced with pride and purpose. We're going to be Cutie Mark Crusader World Savers! World Savers? The red-maned filly was practically bouncing with excited. Hail! Hail! First, we need to find Scootaloo. Apple Blue nodded. Well, of course, can't be proper Cutie Mark Crusader World Savers unless all 3 of us saving it. Come on! As the 2 fillies raced out of the house, Grace just shook her head and smiled. Ah, yes. Then she sampled the dough her granddaughter had been working on and frowned perplexedly. That's Celestia's green earth! Scootaloo was having the time of her life. How could she not? She was flying with Rainbow Dash. Okay, technically she wasn't flying under her own power, and maybe Dash wasn't participating in an entirely voluntary sense, but still, Flying! With rainbow dash!
Besides, Skin had perfect control over her flight. Her bond with the loyalty elemental was so close, and on such a fundamental level, the living cloud was like an extension of her own body. The main pin turrets, the high-speed corkscrews, the death-defying dives, it was just like she imagined. It was all just too exciting. The filly had to shout something.
Hey, Dash!
She cut herself off. Where is she? Sent nudged the elemental on the back. It spun, crackling with energy. Musculu calmed down with the dude's head pats.
Hey now, it's okay.
The air is full, turned towards the newcomer.
Sorry, my friend here has a tear.
She trailed off as the situation finally registered in her out brain. Trigger? The duo apparently bumped into a cloud. Not a living haze of passion and trust, but a puff of water vapor, a discerned cloud sail cranked out by the dozens. Nonplussed, Pegasus shrugged.
That was weird. Well, let's go find Dash.
The elemental gave a thunderous agreement, and the two stormed off. Meanwhile, the cloud suppressed a giggle. Who would have thought a fillyhood's guilty pleasure would throw stalkers off her trail? She had to remember this once she got into the Wonderbolts. Darn Pony Rotzi. We're going to have to say it, aren't we? We're going to have to pull the meme out. I know it's coming. You can't make me. Still, for now, Dash could relax. She guided her disguise in a different direction than one of her devotees had taken. Whether through whimsy or exhausted confusion. Everybody, all together now. She whispered,
Beep beep. On the cloud. My, this is an ancient fanfic of old, isn't it?
The class over the kindness elemental was a study in contrast. Angel Buddy fought conservatively, relying on agility, resilience, and judicious prudent thrusts of his lance. Screwball, meanwhile, was a different flailing limbs, flagrant non-sequitur, and the sort of maneuvers that would be expected from an overcaffeinated hummingbird. The glowing grub contentedly watched the battle, incapable of understanding either party's hostility, or indeed hostility at all. Fluttershy wasn't so lucky. She loathed conflict, yet was silently braining herself for asking the rabbit, who was almost a son to her, to fight in her place. It was always like this. She knew that nature wasn't always cute and cuddly, as much as she wished otherwise. And Angel had always been the one who she foisted to do she simply couldn't bear to do herself. Suppose it wasn't that often, and she could at least hypothetically manage in a pinch. But more often than not, it was Angel to her rescue. Now, even he was putting his life on the line, simply because she didn't have the stomach to get her own hose dirty. No, this would not stand. She was a strong, independent Pegasus. She would assert herself. She would take control of the situation. For Angel's sake, for Eric's sake, for her own sake. She felt the stare itching to crease itself across her face. The voice of undeniable authority welled in her breast. She took a firm, decisive step towards the fray and...
Fluttershy! Something so celestial, you're right!
Promptly received a pinky gray tackle hug from Applejack of all ponies. Biting back a disappointed sigh, the pink bean answered,
Of course I am. It's Angel I'm worried about.
Angel? Well, where is the little rascal? The look Fluttershy gave to this spoke so many volumes, it could have easily contained the entire adventures of Fetlock Holmes. Not trusting her tongue, she simply pointed. The farm hulk looked. It took several seconds to take in the scene before her. I'll guess that he ain't that big a worm. The Pegasus nodded.
He isn't also that strange, horrible pony sea creature.
Just between you and me, Sugar Cube, I watched what I say about that there pony-shaped creature. I don't know the details, but she's Flaky's friend.
Oh, well, I'm sure she has a lovely personality for a friend that should also be.
Applejack raised an eyebrow at this. Shy? You sure you feeling okay?
I'm fine, really.
She glanced at Scribble again, then guessed at horror. Was? Oh, my stars. The pink and purple lay impaled before them. Angel's lance emanating from her chest. The runes hued of the carrot emitted a brilliant radiance that was visibly eating away that thing of chaos. She looked at the stunned ponies and gave a sad smile.
Hello, Superman. Hello.
Wow. Of all the references that I could have expected from this fic, a whatever happened to the Man of Steel reference was not one of them. With that, she vanished. Archangel Bunny. 4 colorless mana, 1 green mana, 1 white mana. Legendary creature. Angel Rabbit. Flying, first strike, Temple. You got a new card. Target pony, Pegasus, or unicorn that is indestructible this turn. Bunnies don't fear the Reaper.